Well, here we are again. Hello, Shandaeya.
Hi, Red.
Welcome back to Major Key.
Thank you.
I'm so happy you're back.
I'm happy to be back.
I feel like our first episode was so much fun.
It was.
We got a viral clip out of that one. They love to just see the Sag Aqua dynamic.
I still think what was so funny was in real time, we were talking about things that Sagittariuses do. I don't even remember what it was. And then you literally did it to me. You were like, oh, says the Aquarius. And I was like, this is the literal example. But you know what? I love you. And that's it.
Oh, I love you too.
But see, that's the thing. An Aquarius will always love a Sagittarius for who they are. And it is vice versa.
For sure.
I feel like we're very good at calling out Sagittarius, and they really don't like to be that perceived.
You know what? I would say I hear that. I do think a lot of Sagittariuses have a hard time with that. Yeah. I try to be better, you know? I'm like, look, I also, as we said in the last episode, I'm like, I'm never going to not indulge. So I'm like, I understand the flaws that we have. So I'm like, well, yeah, sometimes a call out is necessary.
Yeah. And that's something that I love about Sagittarius, because I feel like an Aquarius is always thinking it. It will take us a long time to say it. Whereas a Sag, they're like locked and loaded.
Right.
They're like, well, you. I'm like, damn. Could have waited. No, okay.
But you know what?
I'm gonna watch and love it.
Please. Look, I think the other thing I love about an Aquarius is I feel like a big virtue or value of Sagittarius is honesty. And you know, an Aquarius is gonna say it. So I'm like, okay, period. Let's keep it a buck. Like, let's always keep it a buck.
Sometimes I'm like, I should say less.
You know, it's all about to whom you're speaking.
Yeah, that's the problem. Sometimes I'll just say it to anyone. And then they're like, oh, and I'm like, oh shit.
Well,
said it.
That's okay. And that's all right. How you been lately, my friend? What's going on?
Good. I've been working in a restaurant again, which is terrible.
Ooh.
It's only terrible because I'm just like at the point with like film and like my career and stuff where I'm just like, I don't want to be doing this for like the extra money of it all. But I also know that like kind of everyone's on like a side job, side hustle quest right now. So I just need to be walking in more gratitude about having that understanding. It's just, I'm 36 and I've been in restaurants since I was like 18. So it's like, it's literally like half my life has been like this job in this world, which is fine. But I've also spent the last 7 years like going to school to not do this, not for that only reason. But and then like, as you know, last weekend I won a student Emmy.
Woo! Back it up. There's an Emmy winner in the building. No, literally. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
So yeah,
it's very surreal, but it was also so humbling on Saturday, just having that great day, and then Wednesday
back to work. Clocking in.
Chef suggests.
yeah.
Would you like another glass of wine? Like,
right. That's so crazy. I feel like even after I remember seeing TikToks after, I don't know if it was the Golden Globes or the Emmys last year, but similar things where it's like last night we were on stage and tonight I'm waiting tables or I'm like bartending or, you know, but that's also real as fuck. Yeah. Like, that's just what it is, because I had this conversation a lot with my parents and my family. It's like, even when we're achieving at the highest levels in this industry, or I feel like at least at this level, being indie, being former students, like it's like, it still is not paying the bills. So
it's crazy. Yeah.
But this is one step closer to the life that you will soon be living.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I feel very grateful. It was a really fun night. Yeah. So that's what's been going on with me.
Okay. Well, it's still fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. I was actually just talking to some friends because I am not a Disney adult, but Disney is a part of me, like as a millennial. So when a new Pixar movie comes out, I'm going to go see it.
Okay.
I can always call out their bullshit because there's typically always some bullshit with Disney. But we went to go see Hoppers.
I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, Red, I'm telling you, it's actually so good.
That's what I keep hearing.
It's really good because it actually it's like kind of weird. It's probably one of their weirdest ones that they put in theaters, as in like the humor's a little funky and weird, which I really love.
Okay.
The main character, she's weird and quirky in a really great way. And the story itself is so bizarre, but again, it's Pixar. Like, they're so fucking dialed in Emeryville. I'm like, I don't know what they're doing over there, like by the IKEA, because I used to live
Please.
But they are so dialed in, bro, like to story. Like,
yeah.
They just do it so well.
I agree.
And I think the thing that I really loved, like the minute I was locked in, was, I'm not going to spoil all of it, but just the scene in general that I really loved that kind of goes to the theme of the movie is like, the premise is the girl hops into like a robotic animal. Her consciousness is in the robot, but the robot is so, the technology is so good that animals can't detect that she isn't an animal.
Oh.
So then she gets to talk to animals. And when she first lands into this animal world, she sees another beaver get picked up by a bear, and she's like freaking out and tries to stop the bear from eating the beaver.
Yeah.
And they're like, the bear and the beaver both are like, why are you freaking out? It's pond rules. If you gotta eat, you gotta eat. And she's like, what? No, you can't eat him. And he's like, no, it's fine. He can eat me. Those are the rules. And I'm like, fuck, dude, like this is the point.
Right.
We make things so complicated. She as a human is like, I can't handle seeing another animal get killed. But in the wild, they are fucking killing each other.
Yeah, literally.
They're eating. There's nothing you could do about it.
Right.
No one, they're not stopping it.
It's the food chain.
It's the food chain.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is the thing. Like, they're just better than us. They're more evolved.
Yeah.
I think having that emotional component being gone, they can exist in this world. Like, they would take care of the planet much better than we would. It would just be so much better. But that was just the part in the film that I was like, that's such a genius way of showcasing the differences between
like
humans and animals. And then it just gets like better and weirder. Like, I really loved I loved the movie. I think you would like it a lot.
I want to see it. Obviously I didn't even know what was coming. I wasn't tapped into any of the marketing. Excuse me. I wasn't tapped into any of the marketing, but then my eyes were open when I saw SZA wrote a song for it. So I was like, oh, okay, like, wait a minute. And people were like, the song is so good.
The song, of course.
And I haven't heard that either, because normally with me, I'm like, if there's a song attached to a movie, I want to see the movie first. Yeah. Anyway. So, but now you're the first person I've talked to about it. So, okay, I'll lock in, because I also love a Pixar movie. Yeah. I like animated movies generally.
Yeah, same.
Already just off this, it's making me think of, did you see Wild Robot? It wasn't Pixar, but it was Sony, and they did it back in 2020.
With Lupita. Yes.
I loved that movie, and that was a similar thing. I mean, well, I haven't seen Hoppers, but it was a similar idea of just like being dropped into the wild with animals and like their whole thing. But obviously, it sounds like the premises are very different.
Yeah.
But I mean, I loved Wild Robot. I thought that was a beautiful film.
Animation in general is just a lot better of getting to themes of humanity than any live action films.
Completely agree.
It's just, and I think that people, especially younger generations, respond to animation, I think even more so than, like, I think that is more of the future of film, even more so than live action stuff, which I think is going to be hard for a lot of film bros to hear. But like, even like when I talk to my nephew, like, I think about like me and my sister's experiences growing up, because we were Nickelodeon kids. I was a Disney Channel kid. Like, we had great child programming. But when I talk to him, it's like he loves anime, he loves manga. Like, and I'm just like, that's not my world at all. Like, my extent was Pokemon and Dragon Ball Z. And even when I tell him, I'm like, well, yeah, I used to watch Dragon Ball Z. He's like, you know Dragon Ball Z? And I'm like,
like, come on.
I'm like, can you shut up? I was born in the 1900s. which he loves to remind us.
Not the
He was
1900s.
Like, no, literally, he's like, yeah.
Come on,
I
horse
don't
and
know when
buggy.
Mom graduated high school, but I know it was in the 1900s. I was like, why'd you have to say it like
Also,
that?
watch your mouth. What do you mean the 1900s?
Chill out on your mom. She graduated in the last year of the 1900s, so she's not that old.
That is so
But yeah,
funny.
it's I think that like animation in general, I think speaks to younger generations much better than, and I mean, I think if we really took the time to like dissect why and how that happens, I think because of the powers that be and who has been allowed to make live action films and how poorly they do a job of any sort of representation or anything that is calling to things, I think that also makes sense.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's, and I think everything that's happening. Do you know the drama about the drama?
I am seeing it on Tuesday. I've been trying to avoid, but I did see a single spoiler that has me very, very concerned.
Well, the drama is surrounding the director.
Oh, that drama.
Yeah.
I did see that.
Yeah.
I did see that. That's disgusting.
Yeah.
And also, okay, because, all right, just quick overview. Basically, the writer-director of the drama, this new movie with Zendaya and Robert Pattinson, it was just uncovered literally, last week, that he had written this op-ed in basically either Norway or Sweden. It's somewhere in Scandinavia, wherever he's from, their version of the Financial Times. So like a very big publication, but the op-ed was about basically justifying his relationship with a teenage girl. And like one of the
calling it a May December romance that was like,
is that what he said?
Crazy for, oh yeah. I think the article ended like, she was May, I was December. I was like, if you don't get chilled,
please.
Yeah.
The quote, because I sent it to one of my group chats, and the quote that came back, here we go. This is what gagged me. Here we go. Quote, if a film made in 1979 in which Woody Allen's 42-year-old character has a public relationship with a 17-year-old girl is portrayed exclusively in a positive way and causes no controversy in its own time, then why shouldn't my relationship with a considerably smaller age difference in 2012 be within bounds? I chose to listen to Woody over my friends. That is a direct quote from the article. And so this just came out literally the week before the movie premiered. Absolutely diabolical and disgusting. Very morally reprehensible. Why is it that Woody Allen is your
North Star?
Yeah. And for me, it's like I chose to listen to Woody over my friends. Imagine having friends that are trying to push you in the right direction. And you're like, well, what about Woody Allen?
Yeah, he just wanted to do whatever the fuck he wanted.
It's just disgusting.
I think it's, yeah, this is a tough topic. I just think that this is also another, just another example of like, why would you want to watch something by a white man who's has all these easy justifications for his horrendous behavior? Like, I get it. I'm like, actually, y'all like animation? Probably stay over there. Because I feel like that's probably where there's less bullshit happening. But then again, I could very well be wrong. But I think in general, it's the fact that this is a person who has access. This is a person who gets to make film in a world where film is hard to make. And it's like, there are no moral consequences. Like, it is extremely dangerous to have men like Woody Allen, men like Roman Polanski, like all of these people that people want to back for the sake of art being art or
whatever the
letting
fuck.
film being film. But it's like, no, actually, like, it's very dangerous. And I think
exactly.
Sometimes I also feel like the other dangerous thing about film and the film industry is that like people don't really know film history in a way that like film history is just American history. It's rooted in racism and it's rooted in misogyny.
Yes.
And like, it's always been that way. It's a cycle that has been perpetuated. But people, because of this country, in the same way that we're like white people, especially, are always putting their hands up. It is the exact same with film. Like white people are always putting their hands up. And that's why you have a fandom of any movie, a fandom of anything every year that's always in defense of, it's just casting. It's just this. It's just that. Like, get over it.
Well,
and it's no one wants to think. No one wants to dig deep. No one wants to think about how we get here.
Yeah.
And it's so frustrating.
And also the consequences of what we're seeing.
Yep.
So like this was even coming up for me in regards to this podcast. I mean, 2 weeks ago we had Shireen on and we were talking about One Battle. And of course, what I clipped. That's the big one. That's the big one. And so what I clipped, of course, was telling Shireen the antagonist's storyline about the white supremacist general who has to kill his illegitimate black child, half black child, in order to get into a white supremacist group. That's a crazy premise.
Yeah.
That's a crazy premise. And everyone's like, it's the antagonist storyline. Are you mad that, oh, wow, the bad guy does bad things? Those are literally what I'm like, are we going to engage critically at all with what this means? That this is the best picture of the quote unquote best picture by the industry? Like, we can engage with this, but it's just like, well, that's the antagonist. Isn't he just making a satire of bad people doing bad things? And I'm like, no.
I think it's tough too, because I didn't dislike the movie, but I think the space in which online discourse happens with these like white film bros always defending white male directors and trying to educate people and not listening at all. Like, that's the problem, is like, I feel like when you are like a black person who loves film, and I think even more so, like, I know you're not even as much of like a film lover as me. You're like, I watch some movies sometimes.
Right. Look, I love a good movie, but I'm not gonna, if you're like, oh, this great movie from 20, sorry. I'm like, my literacy is not that of my peers, is what I will say.
But I feel like there is, I know I'm the opposite, but not in a like, it's like, I've just always loved movies. I was raised by TV.
Yeah.
And my parents always had like the Cox cable package. So we had everything from HBO all the way to IFC channel.
Sure.
So that was like 20 movie channels growing up. And I just watched a lot of movies growing up. Always loved film. And so as a self-proclaimed like black film nerd, those people who don't understand intersectionality but have so much to say, those are the people that piss me off, because they think that in defending a director and their choices, they're defending the way in which they engage with film as a whole. But it's like, there are people out here who are engaging with film as a whole and can still see the problems, can still see where there's room for criticism and critique. And it doesn't mean that the film is trash or whatever. Of course there's beautiful things about the film. We're not fucking stupid. That car chase scene, still etched in my mind. Literally. Gorgeous.
And I mean,
can we have a bigger conversation about a lot of things in the movie? Yes. And you guys have to be able to shut the fuck up and listen to it. Like, it's excruciating to have to watch over and over. That's not what the movie's about. You guys just don't get it. You don't engage. You probably think Sinners is great. It's like, it makes your eye twitch. Because it's like, actually, you don't get it.
Literally. And it's,
you don't get it.
And it's like they're trying to punish us for talking about one aspect of the movie as though I'm simplifying it down to just this one thing. And their response is doing the exact same thing, just for a different area of the film.
Well, that's also just like how like oppression and racism works. It's like, you think you not smart, me smarter, because I don't want any problems. And it's like, that's like being black in America in general is like, the minute you bring something up, it's like, we don't want to cause any problems. I literally just engaged in some online discourse because I saw this really cool article about like the black best friend from like 90s like teen movies.
I might have seen this article. I've seen some of this discussion.
It was on Instagram and it was really cool, and a lot of great points were made that like there was always the black best friend. They had, Gabrielle Union, like all the Dion in Clueless, but like they used Dion in Clueless and Brenda from Scary Movie as two examples of the trope that really changed it, because Dion was such a powerful best friend to share. And she wasn't just the buddy, and like her relationship with Murray was very iconic for the time. And then Brenda, obviously in Scary Movie, because it's a spoof, and she is spoofing on the black people in horror films that die first. Yeah. And there was this fucking guy, which part of me feels like now he could have been a bot. I'm gonna name you the worst parts of the comment.
Why am I scared? I'm like actually quite scared.
It's crazy. You guys have to understand, like, it's not about this. And if you guys keep bringing this stuff up, like, these people weren't trying to be racist, and you guys are gonna like scare off the well-meaning whites. Yeah. I don't want you to know the term well-meaning whites was typed out.
Like, I'm logging off.
I was like, I think I literally wrote my response back to him starting with yikes.
As you should, because you actually thought you ate that.
Well-meaning whites, I was like, any well-meaning white would never be scared off by black people bringing up truth about discourse. So I don't know. I was like, I actually don't even have time to get into whatever it is that's going on up here with you. But like, this is the point. Like, it's not a problem to bring up facts about how the film industry has been and saying where we want to go for black women, especially in a post One Battle After Another world. I think for some people, they're also saying in a post the drama world, it's like, we have these white men who are the main people who are getting opportunities to make film.
At that scale. At
that scale.
Yes.
They're casting black women, but the way that they're writing them is not resonating to black people. Right. That is the problem. Right. And it doesn't mean that we don't understand the story. It doesn't mean that we don't get the story. I think the beautiful thing about being black and black people is we're very fucking straight up. We will tell you, yeah, I get the story, but I still didn't like it. Okay. If that is what black people are saying, that's your actual problem with the film.
Okay. But right. Your problem is that we didn't like it.
There are valid reasons for it.
And no one is trying to engage. And I don't want to say no one, but y'all, the people that are loudest in these fucking comments and in these fucking think pieces and on all these stitches, you're not even attempting to understand where we're coming from.
Yeah. Because it's as if you guys think that we live in a vacuum. No, we have to live in a world with y'all as well. Yes. A world that's dominated by y'all. So we are always forced to see. I understand a white male film perspective even more than you probably. Yes. Unfucking fortunately. Yes. But have you ever seen Losing Ground by Kathleen Collins? Probably not. The first theatrical release by a black film director, only to have happened in 1982. Bet you haven't fucking seen that shit. And this is where I get so pissed off, because I'm like, it's always so one-sided. And I'm like, if you can understand that there are microcosms of how bad this shit is, but you get to choose to not be a part of it. Right. I don't have that choice. Right. I'm not going to sit here and ever say I'm an aspiring film director, I'm a filmmaker, I'm a producer, and not know my fucking history. Yeah, yeah. You, Johnny Two Shits, could get off your fucking couch, go make a film, and be like, I really like David Fincher. No one's ever gonna ask you, well, have you seen Spike Lee films? Exactly. Have you seen Cassie Lemon films? Exactly. Like, they're not ever gonna do that to you. So, and you can become successful without it. Yeah. And it's just like, it's the people who they just have so little awareness, but that is the makeup of America. Like, that is our whole issue, is that white people get to do the bare minimum and be successful, and then get protected for not being aware, for dating children. Like, they get to be protected in fucking everything. Yeah. So I think when black people want to have critiques on film, I think y'all just need to shut the fuck up, take a minute and listen. You are probably still going to feel the same exact way how you feel. We don't care. But at least it would just be nice to listen and
try to have a real discussion. Yeah. Try to actually understand some nuance from a perspective that isn't yours.
What did Ta-Nehisi say? was silence not an option?
Did he say, well, right.
And I think in an interview with someone, and I'm like, y'all have that choice too in these comments, because you're not saying anything groundbreaking. You're not saying anything that people don't get.
Right.
And that is like, that's the most annoying part about online discourse, is that it's not a real discourse. It's just people wanting.
It's just people talking. It's
talking,
just
wanting to
noise.
defend shit just because
It's
I didn't
literally
like what
just
you
noise.
liked. Well, now I have to defend it. And it's like, no one fucking cares.
No. Yeah.
No one cares.
Well,
I love a spirited talk. Sorry.
as do I, girl. And literally, speaking of the spirit, happy
Oh
Easter.
my gosh.
Happy Easter. Happy Easter.
What a segue. Happy
What
Easter.
a segue. Actually, it's snack time, as you know. So let me pause.
I love that this is always part of it for me.
Oh, snack time on a silver platter.
Are we doing communion?
Oh, that would have been a great idea. I have Reese's peanut butter eggs. No, that would have been a really, really good idea.
Yeah, you could have done like egg-shaped the body.
Egg-shaped body of Christ. Egg-shaped body of Christ, tiny little shot
Not always good
glasses
on the
of the
cup.
blood.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, it's Easter. We're recording this on Easter.
Wow.
I was gonna cook, but like I said, I just been on set, girl. I exhausted.
Don't worry
So
about it. These are my favorite.
me too. I feel like these are better than the cups. The
These are
actual
better than the
eggs.
cups. They really took Canterbury's. Is it Canterbury that makes those nasty little like?
Yeah, I think that's a Canterbury egg. Yeah, that sounds right.
The Canterbury egg, and then those little like marshmallow, like the marshmallow candy that comes out at Easter too. All
Peeps.
Yeah,
and I was
all
gonna
have
get
been
Peeps.
eclipsed by this baby here.
Completely agree. I was gonna
That
get.
shit is nasty.
I was gonna get Peeps. Girl, why did they have chili lime mango Peeps at the store? Huh? Chili lime mango.
They're really trying to keep up with the times, because I think
You don't need to. No. Because let me tell you something that will always be better than a chili lime mango Peep. Give me a fucking purple Peep. Give me a blue Peep. Like, let's go back to the basics. The yellow ones, whatever. That was the original. But if you could get a green, a purple, a blue Peep, like oh my God, the Easter baskets of days gone by when you could get, my grandmother, my mom used to always give us Easter baskets growing up. And when I would see a color other than yellow in there, I was like, oh, we got Peeps in this bitch. Like,
I love that.
I loved a Peep.
Yeah, I always thought they were so nasty. But
What?
that's because I'm like a chocolate girl.
And you know what?
And even the nastiest chocolate growing up, I was like, this is delicious. But like, now I'm like, if you put a piece of Hershey's in front of me, I'm like, get that shit away from me. But I just love chocolate growing up. So
In the store, I got that feeling. I was like, I feel like Shandaeya. Also, you have taste. So I was like, I know you're going to like the peanut butter egg. I was like, because this is
yeah.
definitely the best Easter candy to date.
It is.
Yeah.
It really,
Yeah.
it took over.
And as it should, it deserves.
Because I remember when I was little, it just used to be the little like gold foil wrapped cups.
You're right.
The eggs came out sometime when I was young. and
I
then-
remember the eggs. Yeah, I distinctly remember the
Distinctly, yeah.
first year of the egg
Yeah.
because my school had like a little, I don't even, basically a gift shop, and you could go and like get they had candies and stuff. Might as well have been a bodega in the school, right? And I remember that first spring, I was probably 8th grade, 7th or 8th grade, and they had them eggs, and they were selling them for 99 cents,
Yeah.
baby. Every day I was in that bitch getting them eggs. Oh, because I was like, why are these so good?
Yeah.
It's the perfect shape, I think, as well for the whole peanut butter chocolate
Yeah.
moment. Anyway,
We love
So-
we love an egg.
we love a Reese's egg. I wanted to talk this week about, given that it is Easter, I wanted to talk about growing up in the church and also like the role that religion plays in our lives now, in the world. It's a huge topic and we're already running out of time.
Thank God. It's probably for the best.
But I wanted to wake that up. You grew up in the church,
Yeah.
as did I.
Yeah, I grew up in a non-denominational church.
Okay.
So not like Baptist or Methodist, but like the praying in tongues
Yeah.
kind.
Yeah.
You know, they got my parents pretty early. Cause like I grew up military as well. So
Yeah.
when my family moved to Florida, I was really young, and I think they were going to a church near the town that we were in, and then there were these two pastors that like split off and wanted to like start their own church. Funnily enough, they actually were from LA originally. Okay. And I think their whole goal, I think they wanted to be like big mega church level.
Okay.
And I think that was what I can assume was probably, I don't think that was the part that was appealing to my parents. I think the ideas behind mega churches is that you have the power to like, through God or whatever, to like save thousands of people, bring so many people to the Lord. And I think when you're kind of what they call like young and hungry and on fire for God, that's like something that's like very appealing to you, is like you have all this passion about Jesus and what he can do and what God can do in your life.
Right. So then a mega church can be that outlet to spread it to so many people.
Yeah.
Wow. That's interesting.
But yeah,
I had never considered that.
Yeah. It's weird. My childhood church experience is like, it's very fraught for me because I think what that church demanded, because they were brand new church, my parents were very invested in the church, and the pastors of that church did not have a lot of consideration for the fact that like all of the members of this congregation were like families, parents, and it was just unfortunate for us that like we lived like 45 minutes away from the church.
Oh, wow. Commitment every Sunday.
No.
Okay.
Like Monday through Friday.
Stop.
Yeah, like all the time.
Really?
Yeah, that's the fraught part, because
So was your family like doing service for the church as well? Like were you guys?
Like my parents were elders, so they were like pretty high up.
I see.
And I think that whole conversation too about hierarchy, and like there was a lot of weird like almost classism in the church I grew up in, and like there were things that like I benefited from because my parents were elders, but then there would be like just like regular people, like kids whose moms were just like single moms who like couldn't commit to the church as much, and then to kind of see how like they were treated, like that always felt really weird to me, because I'm like our pastors had this little like den almost, where they would like go after church and just like sequester themselves, and only the elders and like their kids and stuff could go, but like everyone else couldn't. And I was like, that in itself, I think, again, the Aquarius in me, I'm like, that doesn't feel fair. Not fair. That doesn't feel right. Like everyone's nice and cool here, like but it wasn't. It was like, oh no, we're allowed to go, but like they're not. But the issue was too, like I'm the youngest, and I always tell people like my oldest sister kind of raised me for a lot of those years, because my parents they would like get off work, my sister would cook dinner, and then they would eat, and then they'd go to church. Yeah. So I would literally be seeing them for like an hour of the day, and that would just be like to eat, and then they'd be gone. Wow. And we couldn't go to church until the weekends, because obviously we were in school.
In school, sure.
But they were like always having revival. It was always, we need you guys to intercede in prayer. We need y'all to be wanting it more, you know. And then the cameras
How
came,
big? I know it's a mega church. How many members?
Well, the thing is, let me define. They were aspiring. Aspiring to be a mega church. So it was not, and still isn't, a mega church.
Okay. What defines a mega church? How big does it need to be?
I feel like mega churches have congregations that are probably, probably anywhere from like maybe 2,000 to 3,000 and up.
Right, and up. That's what I was thinking too. So, well, actually, before we continue this discussion, I also want to say, like, because I also want to zoom out from our own personal lives and just think more about like the role religion plays in society, and historically. But this conversation, it's no shade to anyone that is still an active practicing person of religion, whether you're a Christian or not. And I want to say that because I think that's important to say. Living on this planet already is hard. You know what I mean? Like, and religion does allow people to make sense of an otherwise meaningless existence. Like, let's just be so for real about it. And so everyone has their thing, and religion comes in so many ways, whether that's with a book and a church and a whatever, or if it's, you know, a lot of people, art is their religion, music is their religion, you know, science can be a religion, politics for some people is a religion, you know what I mean? Like, we all make sense of the world in one way or another. And so I do want to preface our conversation with that. Anyway, but I had a similar-ish experience. Well, I guess whatever. So I initially, when I was really young, grew up in a Baptist church, like Black Baptist, like all the things, and I loved it, honestly. And then as we got older, we moved to I don't even know if they would call themselves a mega church, but it was a very large congregation. Definitely in that area, I would say there had to be at least 2,000 to 3,000 seats in that big auditorium. And it grew. When we first started, it wasn't that big, but it was the kind of place where the church was on a lot of land. And it just kept growing, and they had education centers, and they just kept getting bigger and bigger, and it was non-denominational. But they didn't have the ethos of like the famous megachurches that you see, you know, where you've got the super charismatic pastor who happens to be wearing $4,000 shoes, and you know, all the things that get to be a little questionable. But it still was a very large congregation. But I think for me, like when I think about organized religion, right? Because I'll come back to this, because I think there's also a cultural piece of religion, especially being Black. There's a cultural piece that feels very valuable to me. However, from a personal perspective, it was like I knew that the clock on being a Christian was running up, because I knew I was gay. Like, I came out to my friends when I was 11, 12 years old, and I had been wrestling with that for years prior to that. You know? And so I'm growing up in a place saying, like, you can't be this way. But the book is also saying that we're all made, you know, perfectly and intentionally by God. So I'm like, well, I didn't choose this shit. So what's up? How can both things be true?
I think similarly for me, and maybe trigger warning, I had a pretty traumatic and confusing like childhood, like sexual assault happened to me at like 9 years old.
Wow.
That like I really struggled with trying to understand how something like that could happen to me when I grew up in church. Like I saw myself as Christian. I had been baptized so many times. My church loved to throw a baptism. Like, here's a baptism. Why not? Let's just do one. And they're like, you want to get baptized again? Like,
wow.
Anyway.
Not the double. Go on.
Like triple, quadruple. And so that was something for me at a very young age, like the way that I dealt with it, because I was a kid, was like, God is going to tell my parents this thing happened to me.
Wow.
That never happened.
That didn't happen. Right.
And I was just like, well, this feels really weird, because then when I started acting out as a child would to like get attention,
right,
then I was also getting like punished. I was seen as a like bad kid. Like even to this day, sometimes, and my parents of course know about everything, my mom would be like, yeah, you were just, and I'm like, yeah, I was just, but I was also just trying to deal with the fact that like something very terrible happened to me, and there were no adults around to protect me.
Right.
God was not there for me, and that's part of the reason why I was misbehaving. Like understanding kids as an as an adult who had a traumatic childhood experience, like understanding my actions now, I'm like, oh yeah, I was literally just a kid that was like crying out for
help.
help.
Literally. Yeah.
And it took me a
Wow.
long time, and like getting away from that church, and thankfully my parents don't go to that church anymore, for me to kind of understand, I think, my own feelings about, I feel like I have distinctions between religion and like church,
Yes.
and like religious people
Yes.
in church.
Yes,
is
absolutely.
the big distinction for me, because
Absolutely.
I think you can either be really tapped in as a human who does want to see the best and want the best for people, or
Yes.
even the Christians who walk more like Christ-like, which
Yes.
is something I tell people about my parents, because I was the kid who, like, my first friend in middle school was a gay boy.
Yeah.
And I told my mom,
Yeah.
because my mom always let me be me for the most part. And I was like, this is my friend. And like, they always loved my friends. If they were gay, straight, bi, whatever, I'm sure I was the worst between me and amongst me and my sisters. Like, I was always the one that was like testing them.
Yeah, pushing.
But like,
Yeah.
they always were like, we love people for people. That's the way
Yeah.
that Jesus did it.
Well, I think you brought something up that was something I align with. You know, there's a difference between like religion, religious people, the church, etc. And for me, I'm with you, right? Like, I think that like, the one thing I'll add to that is like spirituality, right? There is definitely a way to, I don't want to say believe in a higher power necessarily, but I think I would identify more as just like a spiritual person, because there is more to life than the physical of it all, the material world that we interact with. Like, I do absolutely believe that there is an extra force that connects all living things, and whether you call that God or source or the universe, or, as Bell Hooks would say, love, you know, like, I absolutely believe in that. My issue with organized religion is that historically it's been used to justify some of humanity's biggest tragedies, right? And that for me is like where things like really fall apart. Because if we're honest about it, whether you're talking about Christianity, Judaism, Islam, or so many other religions, these are stories that have been passed down throughout humanity. And that's not a bad thing. I don't say that in a derogatory way. Like, that's humanity's survival has depended on stories, right? Us knowing our histories. I mean, story is literally in the word of history, right? Like, we pass down knowledge through stories. And so it's not a bad thing, but we have to be honest about what it is. Right. This is powerful mythology, but that's all it is at the end of the day. And so it's like, for that to be used, not just historically, but even today in Southwest Asia, as we're seeing what's going on, like, that we're using stories to justify wiping entire civilizations off the face of the earth. And that, I mean, it's, yeah. I mean, yes, this is happening now. I mean, we can look at the Holocaust. We can look at literally the existence of something like the Vatican, you know, the history of the Holy Roman Empire. How on earth could an empire be holy, right? If we're really talking about imperialism, why is imperialism holy? How could that ever be? You know, and so it's just like, I don't know. That's another big thing that I bump up against when I think about organized religion.
There's so many things to bump up against, I think, is the problem. Like, obviously having any sort of justification to kill people seems like the antithesis of religion.
Absolutely.
Of spirituality.
Yes.
Like, I think that there's like a difference between like understanding that you might be a spiritual person and you might feel more connected to something than others. But I think it's the way in which throughout history we've used that to justify other humans feeling better than other humans.
Right.
I think, you know, like a big part with organized religion in this country is like, I think about, who was it? Was it Billy Graham? A huge preacher, I think from like the 50s, who did a lot of like tent revivals and how that kind of started to spread this like praying in tongues, non-denominational type of Christian. And there's just like a lot, there's where you will find a spiritual leader, you will always find a lot of bad things in its wake. There's very rare, like it doesn't even take much to think about. There's I don't think almost any Christian leaders, especially in this country, that you could not trace some bad shit behind.
Sure.
But very few in the history of humanity that you could be like, that was a spiritual leader who really nothing.
Yeah.
Can't say a thing.
Yeah.
Which I think even in itself speaks to the flaws of organized religion and the pedestals that we try to put up for ourselves.
Yes.
I think that's why I just can't align with it. I can align with someone who says they're Christian, but I think, the church of it all is, I think, where it's always going to be a problem because once you start to put in hierarchies, once you start to organize, once you start to tell people what to do or try to be some sort of representative, there's inherently going to be issues.
And I mean, no person is perfect, you know, and like at the end of the day, if you're choosing to find influence or try to gain influence through the religion, I don't know. I'm with you. I think it opens yourself up to a lot of negative things in their wake. I think that was a great way to put it. The other thing that just was coming up for me when you were speaking, there's a cultural piece of Christianity and Blackness that I think are, you know, I don't want to say inextricably linked, but if you look at the history of Black Americans, I mean, it's almost inextricably linked, right? Like there's such a close tie to Christianity, and that's where I think, as if none of this is like easy, but I'm like, that's where it also gets a little tricky for me, because it's like, I think for me, look, I love being Black and I love experiencing Black culture and also being able to participate in it. And a lot of that is from the way I was raised. A lot of that is from growing up in the church, and being able to relate to a lot of Black Americans in that same way. And so, you know, looking forward, it's like, were I to have children, and that's a big if, TBH, but were I to have children, would I do the same? Would I also raise them in the church? You know, because I really, really value that I can understand and relate in like on this level, but I can't say that I really, really value. I don't say I really, really value organized religion is what I'll say.
Yeah. I agree. I think similarly, like I, as like a straight Black woman, like I struggle and hit up against it so much because of the hurt that I have from the childhood stuff, and then just all of that kind of opening my eyes to things. I think I always respect and understand, because my grandma was really Baptist. Like both my parents didn't grow up as religious as they ended up raising us, which is kind of the funny thing.
Yeah.
But like they always were spiritual. They always church was a big part of their identity as well. But like, because I grew up in a non-denominational church, like all of my parents' friends, of course, were the other Black families at our church. Yeah. But we grew up around like all different types of people.
Yeah.
And so with me and my Blackness and the way that I see being Black and religion, I think for me, especially being a military kid in general,
Sure.
like my identity as a Black woman comes from my family, from my mom and my dad. Like that is because we moved around so much. It created a very specific bubble for us. The church was just like an extra piece of like, oh, these are just like friends and other families that are kind of like us. Like that was definitely one of the first times of getting to have rooted Black friendships. Like some of my oldest friends are like, they're like family to me. Just and people I've known for so long.
Really, that's what I think I love the most that the church offers is that sense of community.
The sense of community, but I think it's also like, there were times with our church, it was like, oh, there is, like, if you leave this church, we're probably not going to be friends anymore. And I think,
which I hate.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. My parents, thankfully, were not those types of people, but there is a lot of that can happen with churches. Like it becomes very, like hive mindy, a little too culty, you know,
right.
You know, you can't go against this pastor. You better not say anything bad about them.
Right.
There's so many weird and interesting complications that come from those types of church dynamics that for me as a filmmaker has always been very interesting, and I can't wait to explore one day. But like as a person who has to like grapple with, like, you know, people say Catholic guilt, like there's Christian guilt.
There's Christian guilt generally.
And I think it's because we live in a country that is so like, this is bad, this is good.
Right.
This is bad, this is good.
Right.
And it ranges from homosexuality to just not being Christian at all, how you live your life.
Right.
Christians who don't drink or smoke, or Christians who do drink.
Right.
It's just, we have so many walls built up about how to make someone morally good. And I just think it feels quite impossible to live up to that.
And this is also just like what's so flawed about like organized religion or just Christianity generally speaking is just, again, if we're talking about stories that have been passed down for millennia, you also get to trace like the history of those stories changing, you know? And the beauty and also the curse of like a book like the Bible that has been rewritten so many times in every language on this planet is you trace the changes that are made from, you know, the King James edition to the, you know, all the editions that go on. And it's like, as this, you know, blueprint on how to be a morally good person. And so, you know, you bring up this, you know, being gay, for example, like I should have done a little bit more research before the show, but I don't think it was, I don't know which edition it was, but there is a marked shift. Beforehand, it used to say in Leviticus, a man should not lay with a child the way they should lay with a woman. And then at some point, someone changed that to a man should not lay with another man. The way that, and it's just like, so these stories are just getting changed and evolving with the time. And I'm like, even evolving feels like the wrong word because that implies perhaps progress, but they're changing over time. And so
it is funny to like, it's funny to think that we all, you know, came out of someone one day once we gained consciousness, and within that consciousness, like somehow the only thing that we have always accepted and a lot of people really never question is like, there's been one book that has like stood the test of all of human time.
Right.
And we don't question that enough.
Right.
That's where I start to get with where I've gotten to with religion is like the questioning of things.
Sure.
And obviously it started at a young age, but even that, like the questioning is seen as bad.
Yeah. But you know what? I'm going to stop you right there. It's not even a book that's been around for all of human time. It's just a book that's been around for 2,000 years.
Yeah.
And we've been around for a lot longer than 2,000 years.
And I'm supposed to put my faith in whoever wrote this thing, that this is the way I'm supposed to live my life is through this text. That just doesn't feel,
it doesn't make sense.
Right. Yeah.
They're just stories. And it's not, again, I'm like, they're stories that I think at their best, they are trying to teach you to be a good person. But at their worst, we're seeing them used for all the things that we've talked about earlier, for all of this violence, all of this destruction, all of this. I mean, literally, you've got empires trying to take over the world, like quite literally. That is what some people are doing. But a lot of the stories, they're interconnected. You know what? The Old Testament is just the Torah, right? Jesus was Jewish. You know, it's like these religions are so deeply connected anyway.
Yeah.
But it's just these books, these stories were used essentially as a colonial force, and so that's what stuck around for so long. And I think as the world has evolved, like one thing I like to think about, I guess, is just like as the world has evolved, I think generally speaking, it's probably fair to say that we as a global society are a lot less religious than we have been ever, right? There's less religion plays less of a role than it ever has. And so it makes me wonder, like, are these the prevailing religions simply because there isn't enough, I don't call it innovation, but like, you know, we're not innovating towards a new religion, a new thing, because we're not that religious. We're not looking for a book. We have science to explain our existence. We have science to explain the world, right? We don't have to turn to stories, these stories for knowledge, for morality, you know? So I'm like,
I also think that because obviously now we have like the most people that have ever been on this planet. And I think within that, it's like, we also, I think, and with all of our history, we trust each other less. I think we used to be a lot more trusting when there were less of us. And when bad things were happening, we couldn't explain things, but you trusted this guy over here to tell you this because of however it makes you feel, which I think is also kind of how religion works. Like when you think about a guy like Jesus walking around when there was all of this bad stuff happening, like he was probably making people feel pretty good when things felt pretty bad. And then you don't know that there's like another country, you know, or the idea of a country even probably hadn't been formed, and
Not
we
in the
hadn't
same
created
way.
all of these rules and lines and etc. for humans. And I think now that there are so many of us, I think also with what you were saying about science and believing in things like that, I think when people started to distrust each other, which I think we all are just kind of living in the fact that we don't really trust each other, because people do shitty things to other people. So I think with centuries of that happening, you don't have to put your faith in this guy who's telling you to believe in this. Like like these religious leaders are working overtime. They didn't used to have to.
Right. They really are.
Even I feel like in the 90s, it wasn't as hard, I think, to plenty of points that we've already made, like to get people to join a church and just accept that, because we didn't have these.
Yes, exactly.
And we didn't have a lot of other things to distract us, to make us think about other things.
Right.
But I think that's a big part of it, is like, we don't trust each other as much. And there's so many of us now that we can even think about, well, you know, there's a whole island of people over here that have no religion. They are fine. Is God really gonna send them all to hell? Right. Because no missionaries gotten there yet. But anyway.
And let's talk about hell, because I would like to discuss hell now. Because I think another big piece
That's your soundbite, I'm sorry. And I would like to discuss hell.
I would love to talk about hell now. And here's what I want to say about it. I think we're living in it. A big piece of Christianity, right, is also, here are the guidelines to be a morally good person in the eyes of Christ. And I'm sorry, this isn't just Christianity. I mean, there are multiple religions that believe in heaven and hell, but here are the guidelines to be a good person, so that you can get to the good place. You can be with Christ. You can be in heaven. And if you don't, you're going to hell. And that also always bumped for me, because I'm like, babe, look around. I think we're already in hell, you know? And no, it's not necessarily fire and brimstone and torture every single day that, that you read in the story. I'm not literally burning over coals and all of the things that they say hell is like. No. But I hope this isn't too dark. I do believe to be human is to suffer. And how do you make peace with that? How do you make peace with like that is like kind of the journey of being a human is just like the duality even of existence. There really is like no things are 100% good or 100% bad. Yeah. There's always this polarity of just like that is kind of like the excruciating and exhausting piece of existence is that there literally are two sides to everything. Everything has two sides. Everything is good and bad. Yeah. It's just like, and that's hellish. I'm sorry, that's hellish. And then that's just existing generally. Then you look at how society has been built up. I'm like, who did this shit? Yeah. Like this shit it doesn't make sense for a peaceful existence, what we have set up here. Yeah. And so I'm like, I can't be convinced to follow certain rules for the promise of heaven or the threat rather of hell. 'Cause I think we're already here.
Yeah, and I feel like it even kind of ties back to the animals of it all. Is like, I think humans are much more selfish, and most of the bad things that we've done throughout history are typically always like, most things are always out of fear. We're such a fearful species and we're so good at exacting that fear onto our other beings. Human and animal alike, but like human to human, the fear is what has gotten us to where we are, to all the bad that we can't, when we're trying to balance out being good, but then there is inherent bad. It all comes from a place of fear, which means we're like inherently like not perfect. Yeah. And like we don't give each other enough grace. We like to live in a lot of binary means. Yeah. It's just easier to get through life. And I always just think about animals and that like the choices they make, even if an elephant does one thing for its fellow elephants, maybe it trampling down these like dead trees helps another animal. Sure. Right? Like animals exist in their ecosystem so beautifully that like they don't even within death, like exacting pain on another animal, it still is. It's a circle of life. It's a circle of life. Yeah.
And it's also, I think they live in a kind of balance in the circle of life that you almost can't put a value judgment on it.
Exactly. But we as humans, we put value judgments on everything. Yeah. And it's because we are just afraid. I think for a while we were afraid to just get through existing before we built up society and protections for ourselves. It's what is the part of the brain?
The amygdala for fear?
Yep. Yeah. Now that we don't have as much of a use for it as a purely like survival tactic. Right. You do see how when we attach ourselves to like religion and the way in which we put fear into, like, we're still very fearful of each other in a way that feels kind of crazy, to be so superior, but we literally just do everything out of fear.
Which is, and I mean, that's also, and this has been a bigger discussion, I feel like, when we look at politics in the last, I don't want to say 10 years, but definitely the last 10 years, is like playing to that fear actually is like playing to our animalistic nature, right? Like we are motivated by that because at our hearts, we are just, there is still the survival instinct of it all, and fear being such a powerful emotion in that way. So I think you bring up a really good point. Each individual human life in the grand scheme of history is so tiny. And we all have that realization at some point where it's just kind of like, what am I doing this for? And maybe part of the fear is just like, do I matter? Does my life even matter? Does what I'm doing matter? And so religion can offer a a salve to that burning fear. But and that's why it's like it's never any shade. I'm like, if you need religion, take it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely take it. You got to make sense of this shit because it's bleak. It's really quite bleak.
I've always been jealous. I say this now, like I was jealous in like two different types of ways at parts of my adult life. Like I was jealous of people who grew up just like Baptist or Methodist or Catholic, because I always felt like those types of religions demanded very little of their congregation, but like you got to be religious. That was a part of who you were.
Sure.
And it didn't seem like you, like, I always found like those people probably like drank a little and this and that. And I'm like, oh, that probably felt really easy for you to just like go through the world, but you're religious.
Right.
And like, that's fine. I had to have a big, like,
it was
shutting off and divulging, because it was a lot all the time placed on me. Bad things happened, and then none of it made sense, and then you feel like it's all or nothing.
Yeah.
I always was jealous of people who had a relationship to religion that wasn't as all or nothing.
Yeah.
But then as I got even older, I was like, I actually feel kind of jealous of people who didn't grow up religious at all, because I think they have a better appreciation of religion and spirituality, and obviously not the people who go through life with like a very terrible moral compass, but there are still very morally decent people who can appreciate and respect religion, didn't grow up in it. And like, I feel like the people who did are sometimes worse at it, and they always will have a justification, and they always know better than you, and you just need to read this scripture, and you guys just aren't getting it, you just don't understand.
Right.
It's like I unfortunately do understand really well, and I think like this point in my life, it's really, really hard for me to prescribe to like the organization of it. It's just
absolutely,
it's a little too hard. Like I see God in so many things that make me understand why we do exist in this world. But
period.
I don't think that I've ever been like, I think it's the devotion.
Yeah. To the rules, to the stories, to
like Jesus, like you're supposed to be so devoted to him. Like there are like women in churches who are like, I'm married to God. That's the devotion part that I think in general, since I was a kid, like the devotion, I don't think I'm devoted to anything as a person. Like that's just not ever who I've been. Like maybe if anything, I'm devoted to like music and the way it makes me feel. I'm devoted to like
art,
being on a beach and watching a sunset.
Exactly.
But like true, like, but not even on the level of like religion, like true devotion to that level has always felt so weird to me.
It feels, for me,
y'all are like that type of devotion to a person you don't know. It's the same. It's like, I've just never been a person who's truly devoted.
That's so interesting.
More of a person who really loves and appreciates all of the little things that life has to offer.
Agreed.
And when I do that and when I participate in those things, those are the moments that I feel like I do see God. When I get to have like a really beautiful conversation with you about life, like that to me is where I see God. That like with how kind of meaningless our lives are, it's like it's meaningful to get to have conversations where we can try to understand each other and try to understand the past. It's meaningful for me to like walk outside today and like breathe air.
Amen to that.
I might actually cry, but anyway, and so I think it's that level of devotion to one being, I think just has never sat right for me, because I think it's so limiting. Yeah. It limits you. I agree. It enables more of the fear that we already have. Agreed. Because you wake up from, a prayer session where you've just been so like praying and praying and praying, and then you look around and it's like, and then you have to go back to like your house in the suburbs.
See, and I was just about to say, and I feel like that kind of devotion also maybe this is, I don't know. I would imagine, since I also have not experienced that, it disconnects you from the life you're actually living.
Yes, exactly.
You know, it's like you're not actually, let me just also back up and say, I completely agree. I'm like, where I see God, where I feel the, like, and for me, I think because of my trauma, I don't think I can say like I see God, but I'm like, I feel life force energy. I feel love. Like I feel that in the little moments as well. I feel that when I'm like on a walk with the dog and when the sun is setting and I'm looking at this, it might be the same view of the city that I see every single week on this hike, but I'm like, today it's really, really hitting. And there's just those moments where when you really feel that the only thing exists is this moment, when you can be so present in a single moment that it's like, this is all that exists. This is all that has ever existed. Like that for me. And you find that all in all kinds of things at any time. So I'm with you. It is those little things, because sometimes I'm like, I am grateful to be able to walk down this, like and sometimes you have to go that granular when shit is hard, when I'm like, when everything else in my life, like sometimes if you're down in the fucking valley, I'm like, well, at least I can take this fucking walk.
Yeah.
At least I can breathe. At least I have my health. Like having your health is there. You know, sometimes you got to get that granular, but I hear you as well. Cause sometimes people go that far. Okay. Well, this has been a very, very long conversation, for the podcast. I don't know if everything's going to make it into the episode, but I really am grateful for you, and I'm grateful for this moment and for this conversation.
Are we still doing the song thing? Because I have a song that I feel like really fits what we've been talking about.
Me too. Okay, I also have a song. So we're going to close with the song lyric of the week. You start.
Okay, can I pull it up on my phone?
You can pull it up. Okay.
Do you know yours off
I
the
do
cuff?
know mine. Yeah. It ties in well to the conversation that we've been having. You were saying, especially about like fear, and how fear is a big motivating factor, both in our politics, in religion, or rather with Christianity. And so Tom Misch just released a new album. Have you listened to it yet? Are you a Tom Mischer?
I like him.
Okay. The album is so good. This new album is so good.
Sometimes I think because of James Blake, I am partial to a gangly Brit.
Right? Well, the Brits are doing it too, right? Anyway, so actually it's the name of it's the title of the song, and he says it so many times in the song that the first time I heard it I was just crying. But the song title and the lyric is "Fear can't hurt any more than a dream." And I'm like, ooh, wake that up.
I love
Fear
that.
can't hurt any more than a dream. And that really reframes fear for me. You know, it is the same thing as a dream. It's just an imagination or a figment of our imagination of something that could happen that would be worse than the good thing. You know what I mean? It's just the flip side of the dream.
The amygdala, man.
Yeah. So
she kicks our ass.
Thank you, Tom. Fear can't hurt any more than a dream. That's my song lyric of the week.
There's like, if I was making too many connections, I'm like, there's slight irony here, but I think I was telling a friend not that long ago that I haven't been listening to a ton of current music, but there's a lot of music from the past that I haven't listened to. And then I just got on a Minnie Riperton kick.
Oh.
Which I think is like, I don't have a car anymore, so I take the bus a lot, and I take the bus to go write at libraries and all different places. And so I've been listening to a lot more music again. And I think when you are walking around LA sometimes, I think what it would have been like to live in LA in different eras. And I think Minnie Riperton's music makes me think like it was probably so fucking cool to grow up in LA in the 70s and like be a Black person in LA in the 70s. And her music is really indicative of it in my head as well. Like even like I just think of like the Jacksons being here, like Diana Ross, like,
that was an
just
era.
like a mecca. So I've been listening to Minnie Riperton, and I'm gonna read some lyrics that get to the chorus, but it's just I've been loving this song. So it's I believe any dream that I want to. That ain't the only way of keeping hope alive. And if by chance I give birth to my visions, life is so fantastic it will come as no surprise.
Wow.
Because every day is adventures in paradise, woven well through the fabrics of time. I believe I am free. Let it free me. That ain't the only way of getting past the jive.
Yes.
I love it. And it's
wow.
like, it's got a great bass line, but I'm like, that's such a, what a way to just like, that's the start of the song.
Okay.
And then that goes into the chorus. Like,
That's
like,
first of all, poetry.
I've been obsessed with listening. Her music is so beautiful. Wow.
Well,
like, of course you made Maya Rudolph. Like,
right.
Anyway,
No, you're putting me on, actually.
it's so good.
Period.
Yeah.
Well, I love you, Shandaeya. I love you. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me. The yap was strong today.
The yap was strong today. And we're grateful. That's why this is what we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Anyway, everyone, thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Yes.